The ACC just announced that they're inviting Stanford, Cal, and SMU to join the ACC. Yay! The last half hour that this happened, and it felt like this was touch or go here. ACC, though, decided they're bringing in Stanford, Cal, and SMU. Sometimes less is more. I don't know. This might be a situation where more is actually less for the ACC. If you're Florida State or Clemson, are you more likely to want to stay now? Certainly Florida State. Do you want to stay because Stanford, Cal, and SMU are here? Okay. SMU, I get. You know, SMU is valuable. You want to be in Dallas. But Stanford and Cal, unless you love your Olympic sports, I wouldn't have as much use for Stanford and Cal. Plus, you're talking about the West Coast with the ACC. It does go back to this game of geography. That's what this is about. It's about geography. You want to have schools in certain cities, certain states. That's why I still think Florida State with the Big Ten is something that's maybe on the back burner. You want to be in Florida. You want to be in Texas. You want to be in California. But if you're the ACC, being in California, in Palo Alto and Berkeley, not the same as Southern California. The new poll question as we head into the final hour of this program.
People saying maybe the ACC should now be the ACPC. Bloop, get it?
The Atlantic Coast and Pacific Coast?
Yeah,
okay.
ACPC.
But then you have SMU.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and everything in between.
And you have Notre Dame.
Yeah, they could be in between.
Yeah.
Notre Dame-ish.
Meaning like it goes from Atlantic Coast to Pacific Coast.
Okay.
It's everything. It's the whole kit and caboodle.
Okay. Yeah, Paul.
Doesn't this all feel like it's going to be like a temp fix with college football for the next 2-3 years? And the thing you've talked about, a complete blow up where it almost goes back to how it was, where the West Coast teams will be on the West Coast. Like, I really think someday Greg Sankey and the SEC will say, all right, let's just run this thing. And we'll come up with new names, keep some old names like the Big Ten and the SEC and Pac-12. But we're going to place people where they're supposed to be. And we're going to get maybe 60 teams. And, you know, make this more streamlined, make scheduling more streamlined, bigger, better games, no Middle Tennessee States, no offense, on opening weekend.
I felt like we were headed in that direction for the last couple of years, and maybe we are, but, you know, there's still all the legal hurdles that you have to jump over. And the networks, I mean, the networks are running college football. Make no mistake about it. Now, can you get everybody aligned that they're going to go, okay, for the betterment? I would love for somebody to go, for the betterment of college football, we're going to do this. Because it just feels like every man for himself, every school for themselves. Nothing that says, hey, what are we doing here? Why don't we keep some of these rivalries together? Or why don't we do something that's practical where we play schools that are in our neighborhood, in our backyard? Instead of, no, we got to join the Big Ten because we're going to make $14 million more.
Relax, DP.
Yeah.
Crazy
I know.
Relax.
I know.
Why would Oregon State play Oregon?
I know.
It's dumb.
Washington State.
Even dumber.
I know. Yeah, Paul.
There has to be something someday that doesn't allow Georgia to host UT Martin to start the season. There's no anticipation of that. That game is not even on the board to bet. I mean, that line would probably be 50.
75?
Yeah. Honestly, I was going to say 59.5.
Okay.
So that is an uninteresting game. The fans are barely going to go in the stadium. They're going to stay at the tailgate. Georgia should be playing Oregon State. Let's say, and I know that's still not going to be, it might not be a great game, but that's a national game you tune into, and they could stay in the game for a while. You know, and someone should be putting people around the country and making sure that there's no wasted games. The NFL, their scheduling is their lifeblood. They spend so much time scheduling.
Yeah, but you can win your division. You can make the playoffs with a losing record in the NFL.
Yes.
And that's the issue.
But
that's the disconnect, because Alabama and Clemson and Georgia, and they want to make sure that at worst, they got one loss.
But I'd say the NFL is smart in that even though you can make it 9-7-1 and you're going to make the playoffs, all their teams are relevant in December. There's like 4 irrelevant teams. College football, it's a scheduling that's cost. I think it costs them money.